Anybody who took you by surprise, like you know, or shared something that was surprising about our community?
Yeah, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't think of anything that really shocked me. I've been shocked at how many people have said no. That like, I'm like, you don't want free advertising? I'm like,
by the way, you know I'm bringing in the camera crew, right?
I'm like, I don't have the budget for it. I'm like, there's no budget. I'm not asking. I don't collect anything.
What's going on, Sarasota? As always, my name is Brad Hannon.
Trey Martel.
Felipe Colon.
And we've got a guest you probably actually have seen before, right? This guy is doing some similar things to us, talking to the community, meeting a lot of people. We got Rich Tyson. How you doing, Rich?
Happy to be here, guys. Thank you very much for having me.
We're excited because normally it's later in the show where we start to talk Sarasota, but with you, we get to jump right into Sarasota and all of the cool stuff you're doing online.
It's an incredible piece of paradise, isn't it? I mean, it's just a wonderful place to be. So it's not a hard place to talk about.
For sure. And I think that you may have a similar sentiment to us. I mean, I won't speak for Trey and Felipe, but you know, when I started doing this, or we started doing this rather, it was for a purpose, right? And that purpose was to, you know, promote Sarasota and all of these things. We thought we were giving something, right? But in reality, we were getting a lot more back, right? The giver's gain type of thing. And so we've gotten, sorry, is that a B&I thing?
It is a B&I thing.
Shout out, big B&I guy.
My rating is pretty low, so
reciprocity.
I'm doing what I can here.
So we've experienced that giver's gain. And I'm curious, you know, your thoughts on that and the amount of great people you've met and how much it kind of gets you involved in the community.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I've got people I know that have lived here for years. They're like, I think you know more about Sarasota than I do at this point. You know, like I kind of said to you guys before we kicked it off, you know, I sell real estate and nobody gives a shit, right? Because they don't. There's, you know, you can't swing a dead cat.
We care.
I'm sure you do. But you can't swing a dead cat on Main Street without, you know,
I'm a big fan of you can't throw a brick without hitting a real estate agent or financial advisor.
In Western New York, they say swing a dead cat. That's, you guys throw bricks in New York City. I know. That's why I stay out. But yeah, it's been a great opportunity. What I look at is how do I create value for other people without asking for something in return. Mm-hmm. So it's creating value for the people I feature. It's creating value for people that either live here or visiting here or thinking about a move here. Like, you know, Tampa to Naples, why Southwest Florida, but why Sarasota specifically? Sure. And I answered that reactively enough times to people thinking about coming down from up north. So how can I proactively answer it? And now I've got a great bank of content that I can supply to people when they're doing that research.
So the name of the podcast is Why Sarasota, or the Spotlight.
Yeah.
So why Sarasota?
It's an incredible place to be. You've got beaches. You've got an awesome little downtown. It's got a Midwest feel in a way that, you know, you feel like you can drive across it in 20, 25 minutes, depending on traffic. People are friendly. They're happy, and they're choosing to be here. Coming from Western New York, there's a lot of people that feel stuck, you know, and I think that's a lot of towns and a lot of cities in this country. So there's a great energy going on here of people that are just, they've chosen to be here. They can afford to be here. And I think because of that, you've got all this great stuff going on that I get to feature, and you guys get to talk to people on the Sarasota SpeaX podcast about.
Well, so that's a great message for those that haven't chosen Sarasota, but I'm interested in turning this question back on you. Why Sarasota for you?
So I initially found Sarasota. I came down during COVID, stayed at the Westin, played golf with a buddy for like 3-4 days and just drove around. I was like, well, this place is gorgeous. Yeah. And so came down with my wife. She's from Thailand originally. She went to school in upstate New York. So when she got the offer to work from home forever, I said, let's go check it out. We came down. Our daughter was 9 at the time. She fell in love with it. You know, housing's, you know, for my business, you know, average price per sale is a lot higher than it is in Western New York. So that's good for my career.
There you go.
My wife, I didn't have to wrangle her too hard to like move back to paradise.
Yeah.
The schooling is fantastic. We opted for Sarasota Christian School, but public schools are great. You know, proximity to the beach. There's a good food scene here. I think it's only getting better every day.
Very much so.
And it's just, there's a lot of cool stuff to do. I mean, my kids got me running, you know, other than selling houses, I'm running her everywhere. So
do you feel like you beat the boom in a way? Because you were here a little bit before a lot of the you know.
It was 3 years, July 24th that we landed, pulled into our driveway. I wish I had done it, 10 years sooner, but I really wish I'd done it a few years sooner to capture more of those people I knew that made the escape before I did. Could have made a lot more money, but you know, everything comes in due time, and dealt with enough bullshit in New York that finally was like, okay, I'm going to take the risk of starting this career over in a place that I don't know other than like two people.
Yeah.
Right. So it was at the right time that happened. I wish it had happened sooner, but I'm thankful every day.
You moved on a very auspicious day. I'll just say that. But mean, similar to you, when my family moved here, we kind of picked up everything lock, stock, and barrel and decided we were going to look at Florida market. We looked at the East Coast. We looked at the West Coast.
How old were you at the time, Felipe?
I was in college, man.
So when you say we, it was they were looking. And you
no, they were looking. I didn't buy a house here when I was.
You weren't analyzing it for them at that point.
No, well, listen. What I say matters in my family. We're kind of a small family, right?
Oh.
And
guy carries a big stick,
walk around with it.
The biggest.
No. So, but for New Yorkers, right? We look at the East Coast versus the West Coast. That's the easy first comparison, right? And my dad said, "There's too many people like us on the East Coast. If we wanted that, we would have stayed in New York, right? You know what I mean? That's the problem,
wise.
Right?
That's wise.
So then we looked at the West Coast.
What
we
was
looked
us? Like New Yorkers in general?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
New Yorkers, right?
New Yorkers, mass holes, all that stuff.
The whole northeastern
jerks from New Jersey
industrial complex, right?
Yeah.
But then we looked at the West Coast, and like you said, we saw these smaller, kind of more manageable towns.
Yep.
We started kind of south in Naples and kind of went up, and it was a little too seasonal down there, right? But Sarasota had more of a year-round town feel.
Yeah.
And this is 25 years ago, so you can imagine that's only increased.
How did boutique feel?
Sure, boutique feel, year-round feel. But, my mom wanted to live here permanently, and my dad was traveling back and forth, so it didn't make sense for us to be somewhere where the streets rolled up in the summertime.
Sure.
And that's what happens in some towns in Florida, right?
Totally.
Sarasota, not so much, and it's got its own culture. Between the beach, the circus, the arts,
Absolutely.
which was also a pretty unique draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a retirement town. That's what I liked about it. I felt like, there's enough of that going on, that I could cater to that clientele coming down, which it is. But yeah, I felt like there was like something for a family to do. And I looked at it, it felt like it was developed enough that there was stuff to do, but undeveloped enough that it made room for cool stuff like the new moat aquarium we have coming in and other things that are being built now to cater to this big influx of, blue state refugees like myself that made the way.
What's funny though is this side of the table believed for a long time that this was a sleepy old retirement town. Like you grew up here, that's exactly what you feel, right? But it's changed and evolved quite a bit.
The old rep for Sarasota, I liken it to a lot of the way Venice is right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys don't lament it because I meet a lot of people that are like, they're, kind of pissed off that people, I'm like, you live someplace where people want to be. Try living in a place where people are trying to get the hell out of and see what that does to an area. I'll take the pressures of a desirable place versus a place that people
I just wish that the growth would have came more in my youth because
because he's getting old now.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Now it's growing and it's hard for me to keep up.
Well, you do a good job. You do a good job. The interesting thing though, you said that you do real estate. Nobody gives a shit, right? Yeah. Trey does roofing. Everybody knows that. Nobody gives a shit about roofing. Insurance. Nobody gives a shit. Financial. Nobody gives a shit about that. So we all have that in common. That's for sure. But it does take on a much more interesting feel and experience when we've got great guests on. I know that I probably have said on 10 occasions it's my favorite episode. So it'd be hard to pick one, and I know how hard that is to ask you, but you got to tell me like who's some of the top favorite guests you've had on, most interesting stories you've heard?
Yeah, I honestly, the top one is, I typically look for people that have a pretty strong social media presence because I want to get in front of their audience and I want them to have something to give to their audience.
Oh, we understand.
Do you? Is that your tactic as well?
That might be one of them.
Sometimes.
But the most rewarding episode I did after the last hurricane, before the last hurricane, I get a call from my buddy up north. He's like, my grandparents live in Sarasota. They've turned their phones off because everybody's yelling at them to evacuate. And they're like, they're going to ride the storm out. I was like, well, where do they live? They end up living like 2 miles from me. The day after the storm, the next morning, I go over, knock on the door. I said, hey, your grandson told me to come check on you. She's like, come on in. And I'm talking to this, grandparent age couple. And I'm like, I'm going to go out and pick some stuff up in the yard for you. And I turn around, he's helping me. I was like, Al, sit down and relax. He's like, dude, if I sit down and relax, I'll die. And he just turned 99 a few weeks ago. And his wife is 93. You would think they were like mid 70s. They were like medical marvels. And so I was like, I want to interview you for my series. Like, why did you guys? And they like came down here to Snowbird in 1994 when he sold his sign company up north. So it was a really rewarding conversation. I mean, it definitely didn't have like maybe the reach that some others did.
How was their social media following? Yeah.
She's got a Facebook.
No way.
He doesn't do it. He texts though all the time. But it was just really rewarding. And I lost my grandmother the year we moved down here. And I had actually gotten her interviewed by the news up north about she was knitting hats for the homeless at like 92 because she was bored. And it's so cool to have that little piece of footage now, like after the fact that she's gone, you can kind of like watch it and you feel like grandma's kind of there. So I know that interview at some point, hopefully a very long time from now, will be something that'll serve that family a really awesome, something that they can kind of look back on and hear from grandma and grandpa's own words.
It's unique.
So it was a really rewarding episode to do, but there's a lot of cool stuff to feature in this town. I've got a lot of fun ones behind me, some really fun stuff. I'm kind of like ratcheting my way up. The first few people were like, who the hell is this guy? I'm not going to go on camera with him. But now I guess I've got enough clout. I've been, proximity to enough people that it's working its way.
You've got proof of concept, and you've also had some kind of notable people here who they could live anywhere in the world and they choose here. I've probably seen all of your episodes because I'm a fan.
You're the one.
And Hoist Gracie, yes, that was pretty cool. Yeah. I didn't know he was here, and a lot of people who are MMA fans, he's a legend to them.
Yeah, he fled California. I actually interviewed him. If anybody's looking for a $3-ish million home on Siesta Key on the water, it's still listed. But the owner of that property is friends with Hoist, and I was like, I met him, and I was like, can I interview you? Like, you could literally live anywhere. Why do you live here? He's like, yeah, sure. So I interviewed him in the living room of my listing over on Siesta Key.
Nice.
Just interviewed a guy, Bill Martin, who was an Emmy Award-winning newsman, news anchor, whatever you call it, from Cleveland.
Is that intimidating?
Huh?
Is it intimidating?
No, actually, I thought I was like, I said, you're certainly not shy to the camera. This should be good. So I was like, I go, critique me, like totally, like watch my episodes. And he's like, I'll tell you if you suck. And he's like, you do the right thing with your hands. He's like, you got to keep the hands up. If you do this, we call that vag hands in the industry. You don't want to do that. So be mine. So if you guys start doing this,
vag hands.
Switch it up, man. Point that thing up, make it a pyramid.
Keep my hands under the table, man.
Bill Martin was.
No, Felipe
been in trouble before.
On and off camera. Bill Martin was a really cool dude. It's been a lot of fun, man. And
anybody who took you by surprise, like you, or shared something that was surprising about our community?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't think of anything that really shocked me. I've been shocked at how many people have said no. I'm like, you don't want free advertising? I'm like,
by the way, I'm bringing in the camera crew, right?
I'm like, I don't have the budget for it. I'm like, there's no budget. I'm not asking. I don't collect anything.
I'm doing it for
some
free.
people give me some like gift cards to restaurants and stuff like that.
That's a nice gesture.
We like when people bring gifts for sure.
I heard some guy with a roofing company was pretty bad.
I didn't give a gift card.
I didn't get shit. I did get a bunch of good outtakes.
You get a couple free shingles when we do your roof for you.
Yeah. Grab a piece of drip edge on your way out.
Scrap metal.
Yeah. Not the new stuff, the stuff we tore off the roof.
Yeah. For your neighbor's house.
But you one thing that getting involved in the community like you have is going to do for you, or has obviously done for you, is in 3 years you've been, you said 3 years, right?
Yeah, 3 years, July.
So 3 years you've met enough people and had enough conversations to.
And you made enough money to join the yacht club.
Yeah, not yet. I got to make it to the interview. Wish me luck. 24 hours from now.
There you go. Well, the point is that you've expedited the process of getting involved in the community and in your line of work. Obviously, being involved in the community and having those relationships network is huge. So
absolutely. I mean, when I started my business in New York, my wife had a little import boutique, women's fashion accessories from Thailand. Our daughter was 6 weeks old. She got offered a job, and I got laid off the day after. And I was like, I'm done with telecom. I was like, I'm going all in. So I was literally running the shop, selling women's fashion accessories, changing my daughter's diapers, and like hitting Facebook, hitting everybody I knew up. Like, I'm in real estate now. Can I just send you some business cards? So I never spent any money on advertising. The first year and a half down here was a rough, rocky, like, how do I do this in a place where I don't know anybody? But then I was like, I'm just going to go back to what I'm good at. Like, sure. I'm good at networking and meeting people, and how can I create value, not ask for anything in return. And ideally it just comes back around at some point.
Now, prior to starting the series, did you have any experience on camera?
Well, I ran for city council in 2015 in New York as a Republican. So that was I hated public speaking. I didn't want to do any of that. I was like, I'm going to run for city council. My wife's like, well, this will be interesting. First of all, you're a Republican running. They haven't elected one since like 1977. And then she's like, you have to like get up there and publicly speak and be on camera. So I did do a quick spot, like read the teleprompter. I probably looked like, deer in headlights, but that was it. I was just like, I got to get comfortable with it. Like, let's just go for it. So
what prompted you to run? I'm just curious. Obviously, I used to work in that business and have a lot of ideas. I used to run campaigns.
No, I know you did.
Yeah, so I have a lot of ideas about why people do run, and I respect people who run, because I don't care who you are. You could be a billionaire. I work for one, and you still don't know what the hell you're doing when you get on a campaign.
Sure.
Right. So the learning curve has to be steep. You got a short period of time.
Yeah.
Like what made you decide to run, and like what was the?
So I was selling real estate already, and so Rochester's got a huge concentration of poverty. Xerox, Kodak, IBM, all these people that used to be there, they left. The people that had those jobs didn't necessarily leave, and then you've got these suburbs around there, and they all bitch about the property taxes. But if you look at where the property tax revenue goes, it goes back into subsidies into the city. So I was like, well, if you're going to complain about the high property taxes out here, why don't you go fix the problem that's taking place instead of fleeing to the burbs and hope it goes away? So I bought a wonderful house in a nice area of the city, and I was like, let me try to run. Maybe I can turn the tide of what's taking place here, unsuccessfully, of course.
Of course.
And I mean, it's not going to change. It's getting worse by the day. And then I tried to do similarly. I was like, well, how do you give people housing? So I started basically developing rooming houses, and I had 39 properties, 104 doors at the height of it. And then 2019, they did the Tenant Protection Act, which was the Screw Your Landlord Act. And I said, okay, I got to liquidate this stuff. And that was really the first kind of domino to fall. I was like, I gotta do something different. So
that's what pushed you out of.
Yeah, so I got licensed to sell in Florida that year. I was like, I got to do continuing education. I'm like, just in case. And then put our kids in private school during COVID. And then my wife got the ability to work from home. And I was like, what's the worst that could happen? Let's go try it out. Worst case, fall flat on my face. I'll move back up there. Dude, I'll come mop the floors in your office before I move back to New York if I can't. There's no way on earth I'd go
not
back.
much floor to mop.
It'll be really clean. It'll be thorough.
When it comes to content done in the real estate world, it's a lot of it's cookie cutter, a lot of it's the same. You've got like, hey,
Follow me.
We're here at 1450 Main. This is a 3-bedroom. It's like
surprise, it's a house,
right? No way.
That's what I sell,
right? And you're getting outside the box, right? Something that another thing we have in common. We just try to think outside the box, and again, I don't think if we were doing this today for the reasons why we started this, we would not be doing this, if you know what I mean. Like if we would I don't even know why we started doing this, to be honest with you. Trey was like,
I'm a good salesman.
Hey, we're thinking about starting this podcast, Sarasota SpeaX. And I'm like, well, hey, I'm starting a new business in Sarasota that I want to be more involved with the community, because like real estate, I had a lot of 1099 agents. They were all over the country, and it was great, but I worked from home, and I wasn't really like a part of the community that I came from. So long story short, we're all thinking outside the box, doing something that is uniquely fun, and it gives back to us as well. But what made you, did you try to do the traditional stuff and realize it wasn't working? Did you how did you land on having kind of a little bit of a show?
Yeah, so when I first came down,
spotlight series, that's what you're calling it.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's a feature, features, whatever. So when I first came out, I had like a Real Geeks website, which is one of those lead gen websites. You dump a ton of money into Google AdWords, and you hope that some guy that doesn't put in Mickey Mouse from Boise, Idaho, is looking at houses on your website. But you get all these names and numbers. You start pestering people, and you're hoping to convert 1% to 3%. I was like, this sucks. Like this. It's like you get people that call you. Why are you calling me? I'm like, because you put your information in my website. That's why. Yeah. Like this is what I'm doing. Like I didn't just build the website for the the goodness of my heart. Right. Like I'm trying to find buyers for properties. So I tried that kind of stuff. Did a couple other little ad things, and then actually like last October, business did well last year, but it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And I was like, I'm not going to keep dumping this cash out the door. I was like, I'm done. And I'd already started the video series. I'm like, I'm just going to go all in on the video series and see what happens. So Q1 was quiet for a lot of us in real estate down here. Like, post-election, people were still kind of hurricane, scared. But I tried all the traditional shit, and I was like, I'm just done. I'm not spending money on advertising anymore. And I moved over to Preferred Shore. It'll be 2 years in this October because of the media team. Because I was, again, spending money on some of the media I was creating initially. And I was like, I can't afford to keep dumping money into videos, hoping, because I knew it was a long play.
When it doesn't work right. Yeah.
It's not rags to riches, right? It's not like somebody watches a video, they're like, he's my guy. I'm going to call him right immediately and buy a house.
Hopefully it happens.
Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping for at some point in May. Yeah. But then I met Robert at Preferred Shore, and I was like, you guys have incredible media for your listings. Here's my concept that I'm starting to work on. Can you work with me on this? And he was like, absolutely. I think it's a great idea. So that was a really solid move for me. Like I said, 2 years ago, this October, and then just kind of saying, forget the advertising shit. I'm done doing it. Go out there, meet people, talk to people. In real estate, you got to be the first person somebody calls, right? If you're number 5 on the list, hopefully 1 through 4 has sold them a house by then.
Right. They're good.
What other things do you do for networking?
Yeah, I've been trying to get out to some events. My wife went back to Thailand with my daughter for Christmas last year. I was like, I'm going to stay here and suffer. So I was just banging around downtown.
I'll watch the house, honey.
Sit around, sit at the bar, talk to people. I'm a big watch, fan guy. So sit at Ocean Prime and hey, that's a great watch you got. Just try to find something other than real estate to talk to people about. And that's much the way I'd prefer to grow business and just make an impact in general. So
I like how you say one thing frequently, and that's, provide value, give value up front. That's something I say also. And I think that separates a lot of people, especially down here where, like you said, we don't have the big companies like upstate New York used to have.
Sure.
Right. It's all smaller businesses like us. So everybody's looking to make a sale at all times. Right. Yeah. How many people are looking to add value up front? Well, you know what I mean? And that's what separates you, right? When you can bring some value.
You ever read Gary Vee's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook?
Yeah.
So that book really resonated with me early on when I was in my career. It's how do you just go out and provide something to somebody, entertain them, educate them without asking for anything in return, and then you kind of earn the ability to hit them with a right hook. So if everything you looked at on my Instagram feed was
the right hook,
here's a luxurious 3-bedroom 2-bath house. It's they're not all luxurious, right? These stupid videos that a lot of people put out. But if you see there's a ton of value, and then Andy's listing something, Andy sold something, Andy had a great month in real estate. I think it gives people it gives them permission to want to tune in.
Hey, we're having a great time getting to know Rich Tyson and all about his show, Why Sarasota. If you want to get to know Rich a little bit further, stay tuned for rapid fire questions fueled by food and beer.
Hey, this is Rich Tyson, Sarasota-based realtor and the host of Why Sarasota, and this is Rapid Fire.
10 random questions. 10 specific answers. Nothing off limits. This is Rapid Fire fueled by food and beer. What's your favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? The Five.
And the feds could be crashing the party for those runaway Democrats.
Do you have any deal breakers?
Stopping in a roundabout.
You should give way to any vehicle to your right at roundabouts, but don't always just stop because there's traffic.
What's your biggest fear?
Failure.
Take a negative and turn it into a positive. Don't be afraid to fail.
If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
I'd have a little more patience.
So just chill out. Drink a 7-Up, eat a moon pie.
You ever talk to the person in the mirror? And if so, do they ever answer back?
Seldom talks back, but I do.
It's showtime, folks.
What food did you hate as a kid, but you love now?
Brussels sprouts are fantastic.
What's your favorite roller coaster? And have you ever eaten a cheeseburger when you rode one?
I haven't ridden a roller coaster in 25 years, and no. But that's not the answer you're looking for, is it?
Besides lounging in the pool, what's your favorite leisure sport?
Swimming.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
If there's a Mount Rushmore of actors, who's on it?
Sean Connery, Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, and Pierce Brosnan.
If you were a British king or queen, what would you decree? Off with their heads!
All the land that I want.
So, I have a friend who wanted to start a podcast at one point in time, and his podcast, similar, show, whatever, media and
Spotlight series.
Yeah, Spotlight series. He failed to launch it because there was, a lot more that went into it than, just getting in front of a camera and the editing, the stuff behind the scenes is very difficult. We're very grateful for E-Dub, aren't we? Oh, aren't we? Aren't we, guys? Yeah, give it up for E-Dub.
Are we looking for some claps?
Just had him, but I think
he's the best. But so we see this a lot, right? When it comes to marketing, when it comes to getting yourself on camera, and a lot of people will either start and quit or want to start and never start. What has kept you kind of pushing through all that?
To me, it's my go-to-market strategy, right? So like I can either spend my time calling 100 people that bounced into a website and hoping that somebody calls me back, or I can spend my time reaching out to people and saying, hey, I want to come feature you, get out. It's another reason to get out, explore, find a new place to check out. I mean, a new restaurant, whatever. So to me, it's part of my work week now is going out there. I mean, the prep, I'm very fortunate. I don't have to worry about editing the videos. It would be far worse if I did. So like, I mean, and I've actually even kind of shortened what I used to send people a lot of questions ahead of time, depending on the organization I may. But now it's like I like to just show up, like, give me your 30-second elevator pitch. Like, who are you? What do you do? I've usually got some other ideas in my head, and then from that extrapolate. Like, okay, here's the 5 things I want to hit on. Let's go. And people are usually pretty good with that. So, but to me, the biggest part is just reaching out to people, getting it scheduled with the media people, them making, and then getting the correct B-roll and all that good stuff. So it's not just like a hostage video of me standing there next to somebody on camera, right?
With them in a chokehold, forcing them to answer questions.
But you film everything on location. That's not as easy as people would think, right?
Oh, it can be
tricky, right? Because you're in different conditions every single time, different audio conditions, video, light.
Think about I had another
club with Gary.
Yeah, I do.
I had
the trucks going by.
I had my second spotlight coming in town. It was a roofing podcast, and we had some work going on outside, and one of the staging fell, and it took out my transponder as soon as they got into town. They traveled 3 hours to come interview my awesome roofing company.
Oh yeah.
And then kaboom, went to shit.
Transponder? What do you mean transponder?
The thing that gets the power into his building.
Oh,
so
electrical
transformer.
Transformer. Excuse me. Transformer. Went out and
I'm like transponder.
I thought there was a thing on the table over there.
I thought you were talking about like a live
transformer. So all the power went out. They had to cancel the spotlight.
Oh yeah,
and it was just a shit show, and I felt really bad.
Well, I've had it where, you get there and the guest forgot you were coming. Bill Martin, I went to interview him the first time. Like I pulled into Lakewood Ranch in his apartment, the power goes out. Or it decides it's going to downpour for that 1 hour block that you've got scheduled somebody, and it's like a total outdoor shoot. Yeah, so there's been some tricky stuff that comes along the way.
Have you ever? We have one podcast in the archives that never made it.
There's always one.
Rightly so. It was because Felipe wasn't there. That's why.
It might have been the second one, but it was dull as shit.
It just wasn't airworthy, right? How often does that happen?
I have to
airworthy. Nice.
It wasn't airworthy.
No, I think I I remember that.
You were there?
Yeah. There may have been one worse. So
that was a bad one.
Honestly, everything we've shot, we've put out. I've had pretty good luck. Sometimes we've had to go back. Like, okay, we don't have enough supportive footage. Like I did Owen's fish camp. Like I got the first edit back. I'm like, guys, we need more pictures of food. Like Mark Carajula and I are great looking guys, but like nobody wants to sit and look at us. Like this is about like oysters and shit.
Sure.
Like, so we need to get. It's like sometimes you got to rework something.
It's called food porn.
It works, man.
Yeah.
The restaurant stuff does great.
Yeah.
Roofing companies are second.
Yeah.
Restaurants are definitely
restaurants. Everybody wants to know the cool places to go out to
Absolutely.
eat. And like you were saying, the podcast or the spotlights that do the best in this area are,
you can call it whatever you want.
Are you new to Sarasota? That's the, because remember we talked about this, Trey? Like those are the kinds of things people search.
Oh yeah.
If you live here, you're not always likely to search those things, but if you're coming here from somewhere else, vacationing, thinking about moving, whatever, you're searching all that stuff.
Absolutely. And I've got like the playlist, Why Sarasota. So if somebody reached out, we're thinking about it. I'm like, well, here, I think I got 57.
Here's Why 50. Sarasota.
I go, here's some stuff you should check out. If you're coming even just like to visit, like, oh, I'm looking. The other thing I do too is like different, the Facebook groups, people are asking, oh, we're looking for a great spot for a date night. I'm like, well, why don't you check out at so-and-so, drop a link to the YouTube video in there. Perfect. And then like, of course, the business owner's like, hey, dude, thanks a lot. Like you've repurposed this content 10 times over. I've got a newsletter I send out once a week to people on my, hit list. And it's like, hey, here's, a great new restaurant in downtown and here's a listing of the week, so it's kind of ties it back into real estate, but it's not just here's another house for sale.
I mean, it's your go-to-market strategy. So you have to, any kind of strategy you're deploying, you've got to measure it at some level or to some degree.
Sure.
How's it working?
I was actually telling Trey before you guys got here, I've doubled sales over last year. So, I mean, it's pretty much public knowledge. I did like 4.7 million in sales last year. If everything stays good with 2 pendings right now, I'm at like 10.5 million as of August 18th.
Wow.
So that's fantastic. Yeah, it's really wonderful.
And you're like always in the $1 million club every month. So you're
last, I think, like 4 or 5 months running now. I've been hitting it. So it'll be again for August, and then September. But it's like real estate. So September right now is pretty empty. I got to get some shit in. So
I mean, you're on the Sarasota SpeaX podcast. I'll be surprised if you don't do $2 million this month. $3 million in one transaction.
I'll bring you gifts if I do.
I mean, I'll tell you what, he jokes about that, but one of the things that I think we didn't see coming, and I say this like a broken record on this podcast, is that the people who come on tend to do business together. Because once you're on, you're noticing the other people who have been on.
Yeah.
Right? You're seeing the reels, the reticular activator, whatever it's called. Right. So it's important. And I think that is one of the biggest benefits.
Never heard that word.
It comes out of transponder.
It's kind of like if you buy a yellow car, you're going to notice yellow cars.
Reticular activator. Okay.
We talked about this before.
Well, and I've gone through you guys to see like who are they interviewing.
I didn't know there was a word for it. I'm going to use that word all the time. Yeah, that's called the reticular activator theory.
I'll butcher that one out.
Mike Murphy told me
I'll butcher it.
I love it. I love it.
I mean, I've gone through episodes like who did they interview that seemed like a good interview.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I see. Sometimes they take different angles. Like maybe we interviewed one of the guys, and then they do the partner of the guy. So that happens every now and again.
Michael's on the east.
I've got you guys did Ronnie with Sugar. I interviewed him yesterday, so that'll be coming out in a few weeks. And that's a special project. My wife did the logo for him.
No kidding.
That. Yeah, she's got a creative agency that she does. She was working for an ad agency and doing some freelance. Thankfully, got laid off a few weeks ago.
That freaking logo is pretty sick.
Yeah.
What's the name of the agency? Shout it out.
ID Designer, IDEASIGNER.com. You can find on, or just hit me up in a DM and I'll put you in touch.
I might at some point because boy, do I love my company, but I don't love my logo. So
we got a logo for you, buddy.
And I need a cool, better be strong,
We'll give you a little more tricep.
ChatGPT only does so much, There's creatives are always going to be creatives.
How many episodes have you done? How many spotlights have you
So
filmed?
I think I've got 57 or 58 posted, and then I've got 9 of a kind of a sub-series I've done called Build SRQ, which was really how do I showcase the custom home builders, interior designers, and architects. First of all, just to show people the talent we have, that if they're thinking about coming in and building something, and to be honest, the other way is it hacks me in front of really awesome houses without having to land a listing. So it gives me the ability to show to somebody, here's how I would market your property. This, I'd like a $30 million sale on Longboat next. I'd like to be the next guy with that. So it's here, I did one with Nutter Custom Construction, right?
Yeah,
so
that sold 23 days later too.
Exactly.
It had to be that had to be the strategy going into it. We're just going to buy it we're going to finance it, and then we're going to flip it for cash.
Yeah,
because you saw that, right? Did you see that article?
$30 million one?
Yeah,
I didn't read about it, but that's an impressive sale.
It was a short period of time on market,
but
that's crazy.
I don't understand how you do that. I don't understand how you buy it and then sell it and.
Where was the buyer when it was $23 million?
Well, I didn't know that side of the story. I just knew that it sold quickly, but I didn't look into the history of it.
The article said it was purchased for whatever amount, and then sold 23 days later for the $30 million cash.
Oh, I was under the impression they had bought it, did some renovations to it, and then sold it in a short period of time.
23 days renovation?
I'd be happy with 1,000 days.
Yeah, I don't know.
You barely have time to clean that house as big as it was, but we digress. So.
Yeah.
Tell us in the comments what you think happened with that house, right? We don't know. We're not real estate experts.
Well, we talked a lot about Sarasota, of course, which is great, but we always kind of drive this to, landing in what all things Sarasota, right?
Sure.
And we always started with one thing, so I'll tee it up.
I see what you did there. We drive it.
We drive.
Here we go, drive it.
I try to be clever.
As you're driving, and you come up to a roundabout, do you love it or do you hate it, and why?
I love roundabouts.
Tom-in-law wants to know this, by the way.
I love roundabouts. I don't like how people don't know how to use them.
Yeah, so everyone else sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's people that suck. The roundabouts
I love
are
roundabouts, hate people. Yeah. I mean, hey, that's a good theory. Imagine there's nobody on the roads. You wouldn't give a shit about a roundabout.
No, they're fantastic.
Or a red light.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than sitting at a red light at 10:30 at night and nobody's on the road.
Yeah.
So give me all the roundabouts in the world. If we could just do some sort of public education on them, it should be part of the drive.
That's another reason we started this podcast.
Just
maybe it's another series you should do too. Listen,
we need to pick
if there's
back
anything
up
we can lock arms
what
on,
not
it's
to do on a
educating
roundabout.
We need
got one right there.
Education of the roundabout at the airport.
I think it's more than just education, though, because you could know exactly how to use a roundabout.
Says the nerd.
No, it's about culture and human nature. Roundabouts require you to be courteous to work properly.
It's fear.
That's the problem.
And a little bit, a little bit of intellect. If you're in the middle of it,
right?
Keep going. People that stop in the middle of them.
Isn't it supposed to be you're supposed to do what's best for you in the roundabout.
Yeah,
that's kind of the theory.
I mean, yeah.
So maybe the nice guy's fucking it all up.
Maybe that too. I think both extremes mess it up.
You're not supposed to yield. You're not supposed to yield.
You're supposed to yield to the traffic in the roundabout.
If in the roundabout, do not stop.
Once you're in the roundabout, you're a jerk. And if you got the yield sign, you got to be polite.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
No,
solving all the
yield,
problems.
Though, not stop. Just remember, it's yield.
Yield, not stop.
We don't stop.
Tap
the
brakes.
If the yield requires you to
pump
stop.
Fake, pump fake.
You've interviewed a lot of people that own restaurants. You've showcased a lot of restaurants. Maybe you haven't showcased your favorite restaurant. Maybe you have. But what's some of your favorite spots in town?
So I like Rose and Ivy in downtown. I like Veronica's a lot. I like Owen's a lot. I live down at Palmer Ranch, so Fin and Tonic's down my way. That's a great little spot.
Not a bad spot.
I'm going to forget somebody, and I'm going to get a hate message later on, after this thing airs. But
I can't remember them all. It's okay.
I know I can't.
Any under the radar spots, maybe down south that people.
Yes. Good one. There you go. If you were looking for the absolute most authentic, best Thai food in all of Sarasota, it's called Thai Hot. It's in a little nondescript plaza right before you hit Blackburn Point, right before north end of Casey Key there. It's next to a gym. There's a smoke shop. I mean, it's not a luxurious looking place, but service is kind of slow, but that's because the woman in the kitchen it's like having a Thai grandmother cooking dinner for you. And it's like her two daughters that run it. It's going to be a little bit of a wait, but if you're looking for, because my wife had to hawk out every one of them, she goes in, she wants, are they speaking Thai? Because if they're not, she's like, this is going to be shit. So so we went in there. She was like, in her, her radar went up. She's like, we're in good shape. And so absolutely the best Thai food in all of Sarasota.
Good spring
reminds
rolls.
me of Weston.
Everything.
That's
my
jam.
He's picky. Our Vietnamese friend who's in the restaurant industry
He's got big beef if we go to this restaurant. There's white people serving us. Big beef.
I would say it differently, but I see where you're coming from, Trey. But no, that's a good under the radar tip. There's lots of little gems like that. I got to shout out my buddy Olivier and Angela at Antoine's up on 12th. This is a fine dining French and Belgian restaurant. 12th Street North Side. Next to a Domino's Pizza.
Really?
I mean, people know about this. They were rated #1 on TripAdvisor for years. But
kind of food?
It's like French, Belgian. Okay. Yeah, but they're legit. Super legit.
Fine dining though?
Fine dining. So next to a Domino's Pizza.
So Trey can't go in there like this.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. Olivier might roast you a little bit.
He would in a heartbeat.
Put a sport coat on, you'd be fine.
Good people.
He would go in there.
Husband and wife team, chef, front of the house. So I love those little recommendations like that.
Outside of restaurants, I'll spin it on you guys. Who do you guys think is somebody that's totally worth highlighting, showcasing, something that would translate maybe a little differently on a video type thing that I do versus dragging them into this awesome studio?
See how we do this hosting there?
One of the best ones we did recently that I really enjoyed was the Teen Court episode. I think if you did a spotlight on Teen Court, it's a really cool organization they have. It's a really worthwhile nonprofit, in my opinion.
I mean, I would just piggyback on that and say all the philanthropic efforts in this community have been eye-opening. It started really with the
but by far Teen Court the best.
Yeah, they're the best. But I would say it started with Women of Philanthropy.
We went after we filmed the episode. We went over to actually see the court. They have proceedings pretty much every week.
Basically, their donor pitch. They give you the tour. Yeah,
and they do it up here and down in Venice, and it's
I'm surprised you didn't get lost. The signs were a little confusing there, but they got.
We had a guide.
Yeah, that's great. The kids run it.
The point is that it started with a couple of nonprofits, and we realized wow, this is I didn't know that Sarasota and as a community is the most philanthropic per capita in the country. Which was crazy. So we've been on this kind of tear of nonprofits, and that has been probably one of the most eye-opening things. We actually just my company, we just sponsored the Walk for Wishes, their first annual. They're doing it at Benderson, so we're going to be the presenting sponsor. And I would be lying if I didn't say that it wasn't all the podcasts that we've been doing, talking about giving back. That's motivating to to play my part, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm thankful that Trey got us to get on this Sarasota SpeaX podcast and be a part of the community. Because even living here for the 30 years before I did this podcast, it was I knew the community, was somewhat a part of it. Now I feel much more immersed in it every day. So I tip my cap to you for getting involved as fast as you have in 3 years.
On that same wavelength, sometimes I feel like there's a bit of a divide between the people who are the locals and working and making this area run, and the snowbirds and the people who come down here from other places to enjoy everything we have to offer. particularly that's evident in the arts community. We need to do a better job of getting more local people who are actually making this town run invested in the same things that the people who come here are coming here for.
Makes sense.
Right?
Would be smart.
So an arts organization, I would say, would be great visuals for you, and also a great thing to highlight and a great service.
Cool. Thank you.
We've got crazy stuff here that people don't even know about. I mean, I know about it because my mom was in that industry for a little bit, and she used to help do the bookings, and we would see these amazing classical, opera, theatrical artists come down here on their way to Miami or another place.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is this Sarasota place that everyone's stopping in?
That's awesome.
There's an audience here for that.
Felipe didn't know about that just because his mom was involved in it. And Felipe knows about just about everything. But the one thing that he doesn't know is the same thing that the rest of Sarasota doesn't know. And I'll pass it to him for that one.
Good segue. Appreciate the compliment, sort of. So you've been on Sarasota SpeaX. You see what we do here.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way. And we also enjoy what you do on Why Sarasota.
Appreciate it.
But we always end with one question. Who do you know who we may not know who Sarasota needs to know? Who can we invite on Sarasota SpeaX next that you can recommend?
I would talk to Hoist Gracie.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a great interview. He's an interesting dude. He's got a lot of worldly experience. He speaks very highly of Sarasota. And if I can help make that happen, I would be happy to.
Boom. I love it.
And when are you going to get Frank Thomas on? Is that ever going to happen?
We had him on.
He's got a restraining order against Trey.
We got him on. Felipe grabbed him by his ear at Food and Beer and interviewed him.
Well, okay, I missed it. I missed that episode.
You come into my neck of the woods in my backyard. This is part of the deal.
Because I know when I was up when I was up to see you, you hadn't had him on yet. So I apologize.
We didn't actually.
Oh, you didn't?
We did. We had an on-site deal.
Yeah, sure.
We made him check in.
Like you took a picture sitting in a restaurant and he was sitting back or like.
He was doing a promo at Food and Beer for his liquor.
Okay.
And
we count that,
Eric went down there with a camera, I think, and Felipe grabbed a quick microphone. And
no, you know what it was? You know what it was? Mike's media person happened to be there. Her name is escaping me right now. I'm sorry. Casey, yeah. Casey. She's great. And she happened to have a mic in her car, which was a stroke of luck.
And Felipe had a mouth.
And so she shot it. I had the mouth. She had the mic.
Do we have that footage? Do we have that footage, E-Dub? It is okay. All right.
Throw that up some B-roll over top of this. So
we'll count it for the purposes of we've had Frank Thomas featured. He's been in a spotlight through Sarasota SpeaX, not on our normal series, but on our spotlight series.
On location, man on the street kind of thing.
Yeah, he was featured in our series. He was featured in our spotlight series that we have called.
The audio was a little weak.
Ours is called Why Not Sarasota. Well, yeah, I mean, it's been great to have you on, and it's not often we get to interview someone that's doing some similar things in the community, and it's good to get your perspective. And let's continue doing it together.
Hey man, keep crushing it, guys. Cool. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Very much. Be well.